Okay. So, alright, the Nature's Prophet does end up coming out anyway, so you get your wish there, Danog.
I mean, I think it's pretty good against even just this Mirana, right? Like, if you're able to find out the Mirana on her own, she's not the type to build into something like a Glimmer Cape and a Force Staff, just naturally. Maybe a Force Staff, but if you go aggressively and you play it mid and you go this Orchid style build, it's a pretty easy way to try and get those support pickoffs that allow you to snowball to the next stage of the game. You know, take those 5v4 team fights that you need to take out some towers and put some additional pressure around the map.
Man, whatever hero GeekFam pick as like their position 1 or their mid is gonna have some insane attack speed this game. Between the Inner Beast and now the Bloodlust also coming out from the Ogre. I guess Ogre just high armor, really? Good support.
That is how they've tended to pick for Cuckoo thus far. You know, oh, sorry, not for Cuckoo, for Raven thus far. You know, giving him these hyper carries in the form of the PA. He's played a little bit of Luna. He's played the Terrorblade a little bit. So I'm interested to see. I think the Luna is still very much a possibility with all of these additional buffs coming through, and the Glaives can make mincemeat of some of these Enchantress creeps. I mean, you can do a lot of damage to the Enchantress indirectly, right? Just from the bouncing.
Yeah, I really like the suggestion of the Luna here. I think it looks pretty good. Boom, just gonna go for a Phantom Lancer. I guess feeling like, one, there isn't a ton of AoE just yet really on the GeekFam side, so putting some pressure on that. It feels kind of similar to the like the Naga pick that we saw come out from them in our earlier lower bracket finals series. Where they're just kind of putting some pressure on a weak point in the enemy draft. And, well, similar response from GeekFam. The same thing that Fnatic kind of came up with, just immediately going into the Ember.
Yeah, I feel like the positions will change up a little bit here. This seems much more like a mid Ember Spirit coming through.
For sure.
Which Carl will most likely be playing. Although it is... You don't want to be in a position where you've got this Beastmaster and you don't run it in the off lane. It's a little bit risky. I know that Carl does play Beastmaster mid, but that tends to be when they've already got a draft that's heavily focused on pushing, and right now they don't. So I feel like these flashy, elusive style heroes, it's what fits Cuckoo's playstyle very well, but it's just not good enough to be picked there. And I think you want to build up into something like a Maelstrom this game, obviously, to deal with the Prophet Treants, the PL Illusions, and Enchantress creep even potentially.
Yeah, I wanna see the Ember Spirit on the mid lane here. I'm with you. I think that's a much better laning allocation for them. But we got the Troll as the ban, Necrophos being removed. Could we still see the Luna here? I don't know what else you go for carry wise in this spot. If it was a different patch, I would maybe say Sven, but hero just seems dunzo, so
maybe in a couple of weeks time.
Yeah, give it a little bit of time. Maybe if there were still 4 ancient camps on the map or something, but those days are gone.
So we're thinking it's a position 1 left for GeekFam, this hyper carry style. I feel like Boom are going to round out the draft with a Shadow Fiend, just personally. It gives them some good push. You can get through the Flame Guard relatively easily. You can even build into a Yule Scepter to dodge out some of these ganks that might be coming your way. I think it's alright, and it can, again, shove...
No, you're gone. And you're back. You're gone.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Am I back?
Yep, you're back.
Alongside the Nature's Prophet. Sorry about that.
Radiant team pick.
Luna? No, Spectre. Okay, well, we talk about hyper carry. That's one.
Yeah. So, we've gotten towards the tail end of this draft, and both teams kind of hunkering down onto a little bit more of a late game approach. Boom. What is the option going to be here? I guess it depends on what they're thinking about the Prophet, what they're thinking about the Pango, but more than likely just gotta be their mid laner here, right? So they got very little time left to decide, and they're gonna come back with a Doom.
Yeah. I mean,
All
Prophet,
right.
if you're going to go this this style where you're going, you know, heavy gank potential, you want to get an Orchid or perhaps a Mechanism early on as this Prophet, means that they did have the offlaner potentially still there to pick up, and it means it will be a Hyde Pangolier coming through. So
Okay.
something a little different from Boom, but now's the time to pull out that sort of thing. Grand finals, try and catch them off guard in game number 1 and give yourself that momentum.
Yeah. I mean, I can definitely see the Doom on paper here, right? The ult is going to be very useful against the Ember. If you ever build into an Ags, that's going to be pretty ownage against the Spectre.
10 seconds
So
remaining.
I don't mind it from that perspective. It's also just going to be like a good pressure hero for the lane. But we'll have to see how it ends up working out. So they do end up moving the Nature's Prophet over to mid.
To mid,
Maybe give
yeah.
them a little bit more presence, a little bit more pressure. If they do get the early game going well, then they can take some early towers.
Even just devouring a Dark Troll Summoner can be really nice against both Zephyr and Carl here, so that can be pretty handy.
Yeah.
Alright. Based off this, game 1, this is what's going to set the tone for the entire best of 5. Who are you feeling?
You know, they've got the Enchantress versus the Beastmaster. I like this Doom pick, so I'm going Boom.
I like both drafts, really. Like, GeekFam, it feels like they got kind of exactly what they wanted for them. It might not, like, they might have let through a couple of things that make them go, oh, you know, that's a little bit unfortunate. But I feel like the heroes that they were able to pick up, they're very happy with.
Yeah.
So,
all right, counterpoint. Boom rhymes with Doom.
How'd that happen? What the? How'd that happen?
I'm just going to let you stew on that one. I'm not even going to respond to it.
I'm just saying. All right, let's get going with our grand finals, guys.
Prepare
Boom coming
for
in with
battle.
all of the momentum. GeekFam gonna see if they can put a stop to it. They did beat them by a decent margin in the winner bracket final, and we'll just have to see who's learned more from that encounter.
So, this whole mess is on your
Raven not
fault?
starting with a whole lot of regen here. Already has the one Sage's Mask picked up. So, what else do we have going on? Pretty good an Orb of Venom picked up for Whitemon. So, maybe looking for a First Blood down here.
I mean, it feels like this is the new meta, at least within Southeast Asia, right? You toss both supports as well as the offlaner into the offlane, try and get that first blood against, well, we can see on the top side, Raven, he's up on his own, and Dreamer Cell on his own on the bottom side, but they're probably going to be playing quite passively. Raven just sitting behind his tower, and Dreamer Cell, he's not even anywhere close. He's already placed up this Observer Ward and backing up to be able to block out the creep wave from the very beginning.
I love the all chat currently.
7 Indos in one game.
Yeah, in grand final, Pog,
Mhm.
Pog.
That's
But-
what you want, you know, some national pride coming through
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
It is one of those countries that was a little underappreciated, I feel, and you know, perhaps some inexperience creeping through. But if there are any good things to come from this COVID situation, is that there have been a lot more online tournaments, and teams like Boom, especially, have gained a whole lot more experience against teams within the region.
Yeah, they've really been thriving, and it is really cool to see that there's been able to be so much Dota still happening. Even though it is going to be a little while until we get any big international competitions. Sad face. But yeah, looking like a very standard 2-2 bounty split to start here. You know, Raven's just kind of looking at what's going on here, sitting right on top of the Radiant Obs, and slightly unusual Radiant Obs from Boom, as they are just keeping an eye over their own jungle here.
And Raven's just like, you want to go for any sort of wraparounds? No, I don't think so. I'm going to be chopping around all these trees, and you're going to be able to let that happen.
Oh, they are just going to try and go onto Dreamcell initially here, and he actually skills up the Doppel just to get a little bit further forward and stay with the creep wave. So, Alright, mid lane, we've already got the point in the Flame Guard picked up. Just trying to burn down these treants a little bit, but it's getting clicked pretty heavily by the Nature's Prophet. Did opt for a Ring of Protection just to help out a little bit against this, but only so much you can do, really.
I mean, he would almost be at the stage of having to go back to base if he didn't have it with that Blightstone being picked up by Makoto.
Yeah, and I imagine he's got a salve coming out in a second. Not a very aggressive top lane, really, for Boom. Yeah, Doom plus Pangolier, pretty greedy overall. Doom, maybe a little bit later on, will be able to put on some pressure, but for now, Ogre rules the roost.
Yeah, he just wants to get levels at this point. He went and we saw devoured the range creep of the first creep wave. He's probably going to look to do the same here. Or perhaps, no, it was body blocked, actually, by White One, so nicely done. Not going to grab any of those neutral camps.
So Kezcute, I believe, just grabbed the summoner out of this troll camp, and it got arrowed by Zephyr. So not a very fun time there for Kezcute, but you can see, Cuckoo not really opting to summon any boars or anything just yet. Kezcute gonna come over here and try and get a little stack going on the small camp, and then maybe even is he gonna opt to block the big camp from spawning? He will. So nicely done. Dreamcell also making the same play. Really wanting to prevent any of these side pulls, or also just Zephyr being able to arrow up another big creep. Yeah, with the little ghost, actually, able to drive back Zephyr pretty well.
Some good harass going on. And opting to go, this is something that I do like with Cuckoo. He's put 1 point into the Call of the Wild. I think even if he doesn't continue up top side, a little bit of aggression onto Hyde here.
Yeah, a bit of a turnaround coming. He used the Swashbuckle aggressively, and they're just chasing him down. Raven will be the one to draw the first blood, so going to be very happy with that. Getting him that little bit more quickly in towards the Necrobook. FBZ taking full advantage of the 2-point Scorched Earth to chase down with some damage.
See you later, nerds.
Still, very nice. Carl not having a very fun time at mid, health-wise, but doing quite well in the CS. And is that his bottle coming out? It is. Alright, so that's going to help him stabilize this a little bit. FBZ, what are you up to here? Oh, just going to grab himself a little Vool.
Just a little bit of extra damage for himself. With those right clicks. I mean, what's he opting to go? Actually, he puts the second point here into the Call of the Wild, so really putting a lot of faith into Zephyr here to get those arrows on point to eliminate any sort of creeps being stolen by Kezcute. Just wanting to get that constant harass going out onto the PL.
Yeah, I think even if he doesn't constantly summon it in the lane, I think he'll probably still want it a little bit later on. We have another battle happening at top. Whiteman dropping low. But they do get the stun over onto Hyde, and I don't think Whitemon's going to mind if Raven's able to pick up this kill, though. Getting slowed down by FBZ and forced to just retreat back to the tower. Needs to get some regen, maybe ferried out as well. The Ogre does have a salve already sitting in the inventory, so I might just pop up and use that one.
Unfortunate by Makoto not getting the luck of the creep wave on the top side, expending both the mana for the Sprout and the Nature's Call to body block him out, but able to just bottle it up here on this Ember Spirit, and he's going to be perfectly happy to stay in this lane and continue to farm.
Yeah, he's doing A-okay. Cuckoo farming nicely under his tower currently, and Kezcute's just running a pull, so he does summon up the boar, feeling like it's safe from getting stolen away. And what else is really going on? Raven getting pushed out of top, but still #1 on CS currently. And everybody across the board really farming well for now. No lane is like a complete stomp or anything.
The closest would probably be mid. It's going a lot more in Makoto's favor here, and he's having to TP straight back. Carl, luckily enough, he's going to be able to grab this bounty rune for himself, so perhaps a bit more of a favorable trade here. Zephyr uses a bit of an odd leap coming through and goes down because of it.
Yeah, that was his... So he had no leaps left, and yeah, Kezcute actually able to come over here and grab both of these bounties on the bottom side for Boom. So that is going to be 3 for them, all up. And now just doing a little bit of jungling.
Yeah, So despite all those last hits going relatively okay for Carl, there's still so many more denies in favor of Makoto. He's hit up onto his level 6 already, and a lot more gold needing to be expended just for the regen on Carl. So sitting about half a level behind right now. We could potentially see some rotation starting to happen in the very near future. Probably onto Cuckoo, you would think, with a bit of a pincer move happening here with Kezcute.
Yeah, gonna have to make up for it a little bit with the rotations. Oh, trying to TP over, still no 6 on the Ember. Dakota really wanting this rune. It's actually spawned top, and now he's in a little bit of danger. Does still have the Fairy Fire. The Wrath of Nature bounces through. Say goodbye, Ember Spirit. And Zephyr, that is once again his last leap. Just going to continue to get chased through the jungle here. Doesn't even have a TP scroll. Getting slowed down by Hyde. They will land an arrow, but can they just come over on Dreamcell? Looks like they should be able to. Leap still on cooldown for 5 seconds. Zephyr able to just keep on running with the boots. And it seemed like he should be okay. The Swashbuckle cooling down. Hyde's going through. Fairy Fire leap. And
didn't get the proc.
No, gonna chase him all the way back to base.
Oh, Kip, you thought that the Prophet was in a problem position. No, Wrath of Nature takes off half the Ember Spirit's HP.
Yeah, he just got popped. That was not an issue at all.
Doom also available here on FBZ, so we'll see if Makoto tries to make any sort of aggressive plays up onto the Spectre.
Yeah, Raven is right. He got like a 5.5 minute Necrobook, so it's doing pretty well. Cuckoo getting gone on down at bottom. Big slows coming through. Thinks about the roar, but decides better of it. Knows that he's 100% dead. So boom, 4-1 the lead on the board thus far. Putting on the pressure with their Nature's Prophet. They've got another Wrath of Nature available in a second, so should really just be able to keep on doing more of the same, really.
And nice tower pressure going on, and it's a 7.5 minute boots of travel for FBZ, so he's going to be able to chase down basically anyone in this game with that Scorched Earth.
Yeah, and his game is just going to continue to scale more and more from here, right? He's going to get the Devour constantly. He's not spending money on TPs, so he's really just going to get pretty big. I don't know what item build he's going to go for exactly. I feel like there's maybe an Ags on the cards at some point, but other than that, it seems like just move speed for the time being. Maybe a BKB a little bit further down the line, something like that.
Yep. I'm liking how Whitemon's positioning himself. He's throwing himself into the lane, making FBZ Hyde and Kezcute focus on him a little bit. Kezcute, he went on a bit of a scouting mission for Raven, and I think the longer that you can delay that first Doom, the better. And they're doing a pretty good job at preventing that.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Oh.
Dire's
Pressure coming at top. They got a creep going. Just going to bring in the 2 supports along with the offlaner. Clean up the wave pretty quickly. Whitemon doing his best with the 1 point in the Bloodlust on the tower to hold on to it a little bit longer. And Cuckoo now pressuring down bottom. I guess the reason to go Necrobook first here is just you're playing against Enchantress, right? So.
Oh, TP's coming bot. Cuckoo could take a bunch of damage from this Wrath of Nature, but able to back off.
TP also coming down from the Enchantress.
Radiant's middle tower.
Roar going to be used. They've also got the follow-up Arrow Haunt coming through. Raven wants this kill. He's not going to get it. Will go to the way of the Mirana. Dreamcell trapped in the middle of 4. His illusion's getting cleaned up pretty quickly. Doppel on cooldown for 3 seconds, so it looks like he's just going to get run down. Double kill for the Mirana. Looking for a little more. Kezcute coming a bit too far forward. He does have some survivability with the wand, but won't even get to use it. And GeekFam very nicely setting up for that rotation in by the Spec. Gonna pop the Necrobook and just keep on trucking.
Yeah, he who uses his spells first wins most of the time, and Doom's still on cooldown, so it gives them a little bit of a window to try and make a turnaround play here, now with both the Roar and the Haunt not available.
Yeah, so FBZ does come in and able to kind of put an end to the push, which is kind of the advantage that they've got by already having taken this top tier 1, and we do have a bit of a battle starting now for these outposts. But it does just seem like it's going to end up being a 1-1 split, and the Spectre continuing to hold on to this #1 spot on the net worth for GeekFam. He's going to farm super quickly with Bloodlust, ultra fast Necrobook, and everything else, and a Royal Jelly. So, well, Carl's dead at mid. Double damage on this Nature's Prophet. A little bit too much for him to deal with, and actually used all of the remnants. Looks like maybe to do some damage, but
Yeah, so I was watching that one. So he took
Okay.
the bounty rune in the Radiant Tri-Camp. He had 2 remnants remaining, used one to try and take the double damage away from Makoto, who was running to it.
Whoop.
But Makoto reached there in time, and they just weren't able to get away fast enough.
Dire's top tower is under
I
attack.
was doing a dramatic recreation and missed the kill on KezQ. Just dying down bottom, trying to hold onto this tower a little longer, but it's going to get dealt with pretty quickly.
Radiant's
Wrath of Nature
bottom
bouncing
tower
through.
has fallen.
Would be absolutely hilarious if Makoto somehow died to, like, Wrath of Nature killing two red Necros this game,
Dire's
but
top tower
Yeah.
is under
I don't know if
attack.
it's ever going to happen. We'll keep our eyes peeled for it, and really important that they open up this Radiant jungle area a little bit more. Spectre's probably going to chill down here for the next little while. And seems like Raven's game is going to be just fine, so we'll see how well this Boom lineup actually deals with the Spectre, and whether this Doom is the answer.
And we're seeing FBZ rotating around a lot, and I know we mentioned before he's going to be able to scale so effectively with that Boots of Travel, especially picking it up as early as he did, but I just feel like he needs to be making use of this Doom a lot sooner than he has. You know, there was a
Yeah.
period of time where there was a minute where both of the key ultimates on GeekFam weren't available, and he's just been sitting back playing a little bit too passively, in my opinion.
Yeah, I really just want to see a Doom bombed out onto anybody, and then just, you know, carry on with your day, keep on farming. Raven is taking pretty defensive farm. You can see that he's kind of always got people sort of in front of him, just farming all the way back on his side of the map. So difficult to get the Spectre, but I do think there are other people that they could maybe go for. And the game has been a little bit quiet for Carl so far on this Ember. You know, 0-2, pretty middling net worth. Sitting here on a haste rune, but just continuing to hold on to the mid lane as long as he possibly can. Doesn't feel like he can really rotate away, I suppose, against the Prophet, who has the
Could be
luxury.
said. Perhaps he feels like that's in exchange for giving this Mirana a little bit more net worth, sitting a little bit ahead of the position 4 on Boom's side, and
Radiant's middle
just feels
tower
like
is
Zephyr,
under
yeah, they're in a
attack.
position to try and pop a Moonlight Shadow as they TP down to the bottom area of the map. No sentries available just yet. But got
FBC's
FBZ sitting
hiding.
under these trees.
Have they
Let's
spotted
see.
him just yet? They have not. He's going to go for the TP out, and he is going to be okay. Heads top.
See you later,
KezQ
KezQ.
getting surrounded, yeah. Good luck, Carl, with the one sleight of
Dire's
fist
middle
kill
tower
secure.
is under attack. Radiant's courier has been killed.
But, I mean, I'm sure they would like to find someone better, but at the end of the day, it's just creating more space for Raven. He's perfectly happy to take those sorts of trades, and now that the bottom side of the map's been opened up, you can see he immediately relocates himself there, not needing to...
FPZ walking forward, he lifts the hands, but slight into a jump away. Carl's going to be okay.
Radiant
He even had the ensnare available, so missing out on a couple of opportunities to go for the kill.
I mean, they're both pretty lengthy. Wrath
Yeah.
of Nature bouncing through.
Bit of a lengthy wind-up.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Yeah, I just love how Raven farms throughout the map, right? Finding the safe place to farm 99% of the time, and he's only 900 gold away from his Sacred Relic. They've got Pop the Haunt as well.
Yeah, they're looking for a little bit of a chase. Makoto is going to be the target. The Necro is on cooldown for now. Zephyr putting on the pressure. Whitemon also has another follow-up stun, so can't just go for the TP out. The team is trying to connect and help out, and that is going to be enough. Makoto gets out. He's actually going to go and heal, and then maybe try and TP back in to see if they can get some kind of a continuation play. Raven, realizing that that kill was not to be, just going to go TPing out and straight back to farming. Not as action-packed as our lower bracket games, necessarily. It's been a little bit more calculated, a little bit more chill, a little bit closer. Also, it needs to be said, right? Not a huge net worth lead or anything on either side. The win probability is really loving that GeekFam Spectre at the moment, but we'll see if FBZ has something to say about that this game.
That's always going to be the case, though, right? But maybe we might start to see some of this tempo pick up now. Phantom Lancer finishing the Diffusal Blade, possibly just waiting for that juxtapose and trying to make something happen with it. But GeekFam, they're making the movements.
So Cuckoo did still end up going for the Helm of the Dominator in the end. I was wondering if he was maybe just going to continue to skip it. Whitemon getting gone on. Do they have some detection here? Maybe not. Hyde's got a little bit, but it's coming out of his backpack right now. Cuckoo just going for the roar. Swashbuckle away. Hyde's going to be all right. Alright, so just a bit of an ulti trade, no kill.
Just having these tanky supports available means that you have to commit so much to try and take them down, of course. Ogre just inherently, and there's not too much you can do against the Rolling Thunder.
So
Requires a lot to come through from Zephyr. I feel like, you know, when he's rolling, Spectre can't do anything, Beastmaster can't do anything, Ember Spirit can't do anything. It just needs to be on this Mirana to do the bulk of the damage.
Oh, Mikoto wants to get the silence here on the Zephyr. The creep staying alive a little longer as well. Couldn't even deal with it with the auto attacks. So FPZ comes TPing through, and that will be the unveiling of the Orchid on the Mikoto Prophet. And you can already start to see that, boom, they really want to turn up the pace a bit. They've got the Diffusal on their Phantom Lancer. They've got their Orchid ready to go. It's time to fight.
Yeah, he's going to have to play so carefully now on this Mirana, opting to go for the Spirit Vessel instead of any sort of defensive items, you would say. So Mikoto is going to just see him as a tasty little snack to gobble up every time he sees him reveal himself. So maybe we might even see Geek realize that, and some bait plays could be coming through.
We do have Carl going for that Maelstrom that you were talking about. So heading back to it now after picking up the drum. And everyone in GeekFam just kind of lurking around their Spectre, watching her finish up farming this Radiance. And also putting a little bit of pressure onto this bottom tier 2, but you know, not really committing any heroes to it. Just gonna have the few little touches of the Necrobook make things happen. Kezcute revealing his position at mid. Hyde hanging behind, does have the Rolling Thunder at the ready. Zephyr maybe gonna hope for a random arrow. They do get a slight chains, but it's only the 1 point, so not enough to really set up the guaranteed arrow follow-up.
And Spectre as well, with all of this space, able to grab some of those tier 2 items. He's going to be passing those through to his team. Essence Ring's so handy on a Spectre to be able to grab up, just increases that survivability, and a lot more passive damage is going to be coming out through that dispersion as well as the Radiance.
Well, GeekFam just kind of grouped up as 4 around mid currently. Does seem like their overall read on the game is very much like, hey, our Spectre is having a great time, and so long as Spectre is happy, we're happy. Bit of a smoke coming through now. They want to make some kind of a play with this Radiance Haunt available. So heading over into their own jungle. Smoke does immediately break. Not a very long jump away from Hyde. Just going to go for the Rolling Thunder. Still going to get roared. Can they just auto-attack him to death? Yes, they can. They got 4 heroes here. Maybe not the target that they were necessarily hoping for, but they can just do that again. They've still got the Haunt up their sleeve.
Yeah. Wonder if they could even transition this into Roche. They don't have the strongest right click just yet.
Yeah, maybe might be a little tricky. Maybe once they've got the Manta up, then I think it's super easy. But
yeah, I think the priority right now is just a bit more about defending their tier 1 tower so that Boom don't have that potential if they go for the pickoff.
As much as I think that this Doom pick looks nice, I just don't know how comfortable Boom look playing around it. Right, like FPZ, sure, he's decently farmed, and they actually managed to catch out the Beastmaster at top. People getting brought down. All right, nicely done for Boom, but he just really hasn't done a whole lot just yet, right? And now he's getting gone on a bit. They're gonna haunt in, short little arrow, nice kill, chasing for more. Kezcute getting run at. Mikoto just gonna go for the TP out. He's heading all the way back to the fountain. And a Raven looking to clean up more. They are going to buy back on this Doom. They really want to take this fight. They do have the outpost available. Hasted Ember Spirits just running around. And GeekFam just going to take their leave. They just back up.
But who do you catch here? I think as well with the Doom, now he's starting to build up into a bit more of those passive items. He's still holding onto the Ocean Heart. I feel like the Essence Ring would be much more viable for him, just for that instant burst heal that allows him to at least get off a couple of his spells.
Are you at all surprised to see the Essence Ring as the choice over the Nether Shawl for the Spectre? I feel like we've seen a lot of Nether Shawl Spectre recently.
I think, sure, for this game, for how it's been going, the Nether Shawl is just so much more effective for being able to farm nice and quickly. But when these team fights start breaking out, I think Essence Ring is far and away the stronger item, just because you want to be living for as long as you can, especially against a PL and the Treant with all of those minions and illusions to deal with.
Dreamercell just going for a more, I guess, hero-oriented build here, looking towards the SNY. As Boom, after the Haunt being used, are just going to head into the Roshan pit. They find themselves a nice little double damage for their trouble. Zephyr's going to come over and hurl an arrow in this direction. I don't know how much they're actually going to be able to do. They're running over. Whitemon maybe going to try and face tank this a little bit. No, Hyde just coming straight through with the Rolling Thunder. We got some boots of travel also being picked up for the Beastmaster here. Roar onto the Pango. Doom getting used onto the Beastmaster, but I think he can just walk this one off. Raven hanging back, waiting for his opportunity. Dreamcell trying to force it with the Aegis. They do get the silence onto Carl. He's in a little bit of danger, but he's also just walking away. The lockdown is not here for Boom, and they're just getting burned down by Radiance, by Flame Guard. Dreamcell might be about to lose his first life. They are getting a little bit of a turnaround here, but can they get... Oh, Arrow's actually still on cooldown for now. So they're just going to stand right on top of him, get the chains out immediately. Trouble for Dreamcell, does get the Doppelganger out. They're actually still focusing onto Raven. He gets pushed out of his dagger in the end, and now just dead. Kind of separated from the team a little bit. Now Boom finding their opportunity. 2 cores dead. Can they look for a little more? Whitemon looks like he will be saved by the Moonlight Shadow.
Yeah. Such a difference having the Doom available takes Carl completely out of that team fight, and they're going for more.
They did use 2 buybacks on Boom, in fairness. They did kind of replenish their forces a little bit to try and defend the Aegis respawn, but it worked.
Yeah.
They killed Spectre, so cannot complain.
Couldn't ask for much more.
No, certainly not. And Phantom Lancer just going to be going into a Satanic next, so very survivability-oriented build. FBZ, like you were mentioning earlier, so just kind of going for this pipe.
It's fine, you know, like you just want to be able to tank up a lot of that damage, get a few of those burst things available. He has gone a faded brooch as well for himself. I'm not sure if that's the go.
Coming forward. Cuckoo.
Kescute, Dreamcell.
Yeah, they actually got the real one. All right. Straight up lockdown. He's going to go for the doppel, but the real one is still here in the middle of everybody. I think they figured it out. All right, going to keep the lockdown going. He's now dead. All right. Oh, Cuckoo. All right, getting spotted out a little bit by Makoto here. He's just going to go for the BKB TP out. He lives. All right, nicely done. At least getting some kind of a kill.
Yeah. Wave all the way pushed out towards the tier 1 tower as well, so they're not going to be able to take that objective straight afterwards. So you would have to say Boomer all right with that. They expend the buyback extra timer onto the Pangolier. They're able to get a turnaround, but of course it always sucks that position 1 goes down. But man, how did he find the real one?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe they had it like just
pre-selected.
Yeah, well, somebody had a lock on it for the whole time and was just keeping an eye on it. But yeah, however he did that was very impressive.
Because I know with the Naga, there's like a tiny little window when you use the mirror image where the real one is revealed first, but PL it's a lot less the case. FBZ's going in again.
Whitemon, alright. Gonna get blocked off very nicely by the Sprout. Well done, Makoto, and mega kill streak for him.
And his career too.
So this game does really feel like it's just gonna... One, the Ember's not farming all that well, so it does kind of feel a lot like it's just going to come down to whether or not the Spectre is somehow going to be able to win against the Boom cores, who are all itemizing, I think, to deal with Spectre currently, right? Like, Makoto's got a full Silver Edge queued up. We got BKBs being bought. We've got the Satanic for the Phantom Lancer, so he can just latch on to the Spectre and not have to worry about the damage coming back the other way. And like even the pipe for the Doom feels very anti-spec. And, I mean, fair enough. She's the only hero really having an amazing game on GeekFam, so...
Yep. You've enabled your own survivability, and of course, like you mentioned, that effectiveness in teamfight to be able to deal with the Radiance burn that's constantly coming out. It's another 10 or so seconds until Raven's going to be able to do that again, so once more, positioning himself very well. Farming down on this bottom side, you've got complete vision of Kescute with this not 100% conventional ward, so he's able to just continue pushing this out. The rest of his team, they group up together and they go for, well, not smoking just yet. They're going for something.
Yeah, they're just kind of walking at him currently.
Bounties?
Yeah, they're trying to invade for the bounties. FBZ going to immediately throw out the Doom onto the Beastmaster, but he's not locked down. And FBZ actually tanking an arrow, taking a decent amount of damage. Looks like Whitemon is going to get cleaned up. In the backlines, they do manage to finish off the Beastmaster. Carl and Makoto with a little bit of a stare down. They don't want to get too close to that Orchid. And with the Haunt available, GeekFam may be looking for a slight opportunity, but this fight's over.
I'm pretty impressed by Zephyr. The fact that he hasn't been constantly dying with this early Nature's Prophet Orchid means that his positioning has been fantastic. He's been farming where he expects they don't have vision, and now he's got the presence of mind as well to go into the 4-star. So even if he does get that initial initiation, you're able to get out of the Sprout and hopefully run away.
Yeah, he is farming pretty nicely, and I do feel like the Mirana going to have a little bit more impact than, say, the Enchantress later on in this game. But it's still... Actually, we've got a full Battle Fury picked up for Carl here. So he is trying to itemize against the Phantom Lancer a little bit, and we will just have to see how that goes. I feel like I have not seen physical damage Ember work for quite some time. Oh, Hyde gonna get chained and killed off here for sure. There's just too much chain stun, nothing that he can do.
See you later, buddy. Boom. Make a beeline for the top side of the map.
GeekFam looking for a little more. Cuckoo just walked straight up onto this high ground, onto Kezcute, who was just kind of standing there. And nothing to punish that at all. So GeekFam just with the 2 quick kills on the supports, and back to business as usual.
And the mid lane pushing in too. So Raven playing with his team for a change, which is not ideal as a Spectre. You always just want to be able to maximize the effectiveness there of the farm. But TP in straight away, he's going to hit up onto his level 20 soon, and that 400 extra health with the Essence Ring, with the Manta Style, and the Radiance, is going to start dishing out the hurt in these team fights very shortly.
Yeah, he just continues to get bigger and bigger. And that is the one... That's another nice thing about the GeekFam lineup, is that they aren't too susceptible to Nature's Prophet split push, though. As I say that, Nature's Prophet just waiting here on top of Carl. Silence comes out, Force Staff helping him a little bit to survive, and now trouble for FBZ. Losing half of his HP before he can do anything. He tries to TP out, but Zephyr just cleans him up with the arrow. Hyde's looking for him, but the leap away, he's going to be just fine. We do have a BKB TP for Makoto. Hyde, I think knowing that he's dead, just wants to finish this kill, but it's not going to happen. GeekFam getting 2 and losing nobody.
Yeah, just a little bit too keen. They went in with 5 seconds left on the Doom cooldown, so weren't able to get that 100 to 0 initiation, and they paid the price because of it.
Yeah, just... I guess it looked like an okay move. I don't know if they'd revealed the Shadow Blade just yet, so maybe hoping to catch Carl unawares somewhat, but it's going to be more time, and this Ember's starting to climb up the ranks a little bit. Well, we've seen like 2 Dooms used, and they've both been on Beastmaster, I think. And they've gotten some kills, but hasn't done a crazy amount necessarily.
Yeah. I feel like they needed to do more early on, even if it was only the Mirana getting caught out with it, right? Like, it's still really impactful. We've seen that Zephyr's been able to get a decent amount of farm for himself. Now he's got that 4-star, he's completed the Spirit Vessel. Anything beyond this is really luxury.
We do need to keep in mind, Dreamcel's been farming, right? So, as much as GeekFam have been getting the better of some of these little trades here and there, with supports dying, and even the occasional offlaner, for the most part, the big cores have just all been farming this whole time, and each team does have a pretty fat position 1. So, still very close by the metrics, less than 1k net worth, XP slightly in GeekFam's favor currently, and win probability still pretty steadfastly over on the GeekFam side, but could even be a game where these neutral items end up being the big decision makers in a couple of these fights. What do we have picked up, actually? We've got a Sliver, Quickening Charm, and a Paladin Sword on Boom. Now we've got Quiver, Orb of Destruction, Titan Sliver, and a Telescope on the GeekFam side.
Yeah. I'm liking the timing there for GeekFam opting to just group up together, make sure they secure that tier 2 tower. Now that means that Boom, they're probably going to feel like there's a lot of vision inside their jungle. They won't feel confident to try and contest this bottom outpost, and it leaves GeekFam free to try and make a play if they want to.
Do you think GeekFam's current read is that, like, which team do you think feels more confident in their late game? Like, who?
Spec. It has to be the Spec.
Right. So
at least for right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm wondering how, do things change when we start talking about like 6-slotted PL? Is it different with level 25s? Is it different with level 30s? Do you feel like is one team looking at one late game and the other team is just like even thinking past that?
I mean, I feel like Boom have given themselves a chance with, like you mentioned before, with the Silver Edge, the way that they're itemizing, even just the way Nature's Prophet is choosing to go for his talents.
Smoke, they've got the Hawk. But alright, Smoke gets broken on Cuckoo. I don't know if they've broken anything on the high ground. Kezcute does get revealed. Everybody else still hidden. Spectre just pushing out bottom, does have the Haunt to come in. And that's always going to be the ultimate vision advantage for them. But just going to take a second. Carl back to farming. He is working his way towards the Lincolns. And it does seem like we will have a moment of calm once again.
I think the calm will only last for a short amount of time. 300 gold away from finishing up that... Has he gone for a heart here on the Spectre?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's going to be the real danger. Roshan is up. Both teams are aware of it, having scattered it out with the Swashbuckle, as well as having the Beastmaster Hawk here. So I think business is about to pick up.
Do you like the FBZ itemization here? Going for the pipe, and now going back BKB.
It's okay. I just feel like his positioning needs to be a bit better. I think a Blink Dagger would have been fantastic just to enable this burst damage that's coming through from Makoto especially.
Yeah, Boom. Can't afford to just give this away for free. They scan it now. Alright, they send the Swashbuckle in, but this Roshan's already dropping very quickly. Here comes the Illusions. Raven just going to step out for a second. Biding their time. Carl jumping forward. Doesn't have the Searing Chains for 1 second. And GeekFam, if they can just secure this, that's going to be huge. Roar onto the Doom. Arrow to follow things up. He's not going to get anything off this fight, FBZ. A little bit of trouble for Zephyr, but he's still living. He buys back immediately. They're looking for the Beastmaster. He's been sprouted in. Dreamcell cleaning him up. Raven looking to fight. Still has 2 lives, so should be alright. Buyback also coming back in from Whitemon. Everybody just committing everything into this fight. It's a full 10-hero battle. Is that a Doom on the Spectre Illusion? Yep. Oh no, now Raven just going to keep on walking forward. Carl and Raven both on top of Makoto. He's auto-attacking for dear life, but the cheese comes through. So trouble for Boom as the Slight cleaning it up. Looking for one more. Satanic getting popped, but he's not even gaining all that much HP on Dreamcell as Raven just going to keep on auto-attacking him. Whitemon even able to stand his ground. Kezcute doing his best, but the Phantom Lance are going to get cleaned up. Double kill now for Carl and GeekFam just completely cleaning up this fight. Raven full HP and still has the edges.
Crumbling a little bit on Boom. The indecision of not wanting to go into the team fight. They had a double damage on the on the bottom side of the river that unfortunately for Makoto wasn't scouted out before he joined it. And then, yeah, Doom dies straight up, doesn't get his pipe off, buys back, and Doom's an illusion as like a last resort.
He did 325 damage in the whole fight. So maybe one of these cases of like a hero being good on paper or in theory, but when it actually comes down to it, just really not working out. And I just don't think FBZ has looked very comfortable either.
No.
Just doesn't really seem to know what he's supposed to be doing, and
I'm
not
like
sure.
Paper.
Yeah, that as well. He just doesn't feel like he can itemize in a way that's going to give him meaningful survivability.
And even now, Raven, he's hit up onto his level 25, so that extra 5% dispersion. It's just so hard to do any sort of burst through. I mean, they give themselves a chance with this Nature's Prophet, with going for the 30 attack speed, going for this heavy single target build, but, I mean, 2 lives?
Yeah.
Good luck.
Well, they've got their Phantom Lancer back up. Raven already in on the front lines. FBZ losing some life. Rolling under from Hyde. They're looking for this kill onto the Beastmaster. He's still able to sidestep, though. The dust finally coming out. Dreamcell, who's he going to latch onto? They get the roar over onto the Nature's Prophet, so Raven just going to keep on going for him. Carl in the middle of everybody. The Slight's just cleaning them up, and GeekFam walking through this fight, no problem. Dreamcell just can't seem to bring anybody down. He's getting kited around in circles, even going to catch an arrow now as Cuckoo comes back in with his BOTs. Dreamcell healing back up with the Satanic, but it's only for a second. GeekFam still have more than enough damage for him. Walking forward, triple kill for Raven. Can we get a rampage going? He's looking for it. Carl's not going to let him have it. Double kill with that last Slight, and GG now called.
Yeah, convincing victory for GeekFam coming through in game number 1. It felt like things were going pretty decently, but just not able to take advantage of some of that extra farm that all 3 cores on Boom Esports had. I mean, it was, what, Spectre first, second, third, fourth Boom, but nothing happened. They didn't take map control, they didn't invade onto the Spectre, and it reached that critical mass where there's really nothing that you can do about it.
Yeah, it just kind of felt like a part of it, I think, is the draft from Boom, right? They've only got so much initiation. And I feel like FBZ was trying to remedy that a little bit by going for the Blink, but then even if he gets Blink, who's going to go in first, right? Who's going to go in and like provide the vision when you're playing against the Hawk, when you're playing against the Spectre, and well, Spec farms all game, Spec wins the game. Not a huge shock.
We're breaking new ground here, you know,
yeah.
with that sort of stuff. And I have to commend Cuckoo as well. You know, not the you know, highlights of games. He went 2, 6, and 19, but every single team fight, he was able to get off his spells before he died. You know, he was there. He was the constant presence. It caused them to commit so much to try and kill him. And even in that last fight there, he was able to sidestep nearly all of the rolls through from the Pangolier and get off that roar that enabled them to force out a few buybacks and just snowball to get that win in the end.
Yeah, and I also come back to is it worth letting anyone have Beastmaster, right? Because they let them have Beastmaster, and then they're like, hey guys, we have this Enchantress, and that's the Beastmaster counter. Was the Enchantress the Beastmaster counter this game? No, it didn't even, it wasn't that much of a counter in the lane. The Enchantress ended up doing not that much through the mid game because the hero just kind of, you know, only has so much that it's able to accomplish. And meanwhile, like you're saying, Cuckoo still just has a consistent impact anyway, and he's giving vision, he's using the roar consistently, and then he's got all of the, even if all else fails, he's still just giving all of the auras to his team to do their thing. So
just ban it.
Yeah, I think just ban it.
Yeah, there's not really too much that you needed to be extra concerned about. It feels like Boom are extra worried about this Dragon Knight, but it's something that they have in their arsenal as well. Same thing with the Queen of Pain, although it is something that GeekFam perhaps prioritize a little bit more for themselves. So we'll see if they're able to clean things up. I think it probably should, unless things change with Boom having priority now, moving into game number 2, that they either look to ban out or pick up first for themselves.
All right, guys, we're going to a break. Thank you for watching. We'll see you back here soon.